All praises to Yahawah, Ba'asham Yahawashi, Ba'asham Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how the only people that are special are Yahawah and Yahawashi, and how everybody else is ultimately expendable, and they ain't really nothing interesting or impressive about any of us, even though there is something special and superior about some of us, right? And that might sound contradictory, but through the scriptures, hopefully I can explain why I'm saying this. Now, the first one I'm going to go to is Deuteronomy 7 and 6, which does say that the Israelites are different than the rest. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6, for thou art a holy people unto Yahawah thy power. Yahawah thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So when you actually consider, okay, the Israelites are considered different to everybody else, they're the chosen people, right? But then when you go into the scriptures and you consider why, right, then things start to change. Verse 7, Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for you are the fewest of all people. So it wasn't because of the large amount of number that we had as a nation, right, that we'd built ourselves up to a certain degree, right? Verse 8, but because Yahweh loved you and because he would keep the oath which he sworn unto your fathers, have Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondage from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Now, it said because of the oath he swore to our fathers, but when you consider the fathers, right, and I've looked for this, right, I've looked in the scriptures to see like what's really going on when it comes to this, and really the answer's always been the same conclusion I've came to. What was it that Abraham did or Abram did that was so special that Yahweh chose him instead of choosing anyone else? And let's read it, right? Genesis chapter 11 and verse 24. And Nahor lived nine and 20 years and begat Terah, which is the father of Abraham, right? And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran, right? Which Abram is Abraham. Verse 27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in Ur of the Chaldees. Now, even though I've highlighted that a different color, I never really focused on that particular point that much. Verse 29, and Abraham, which it is not normal for a man to die before his father. But back to this, verse 29, and Abraham and Nahor took them wives. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Ishka. But Sarai was barren; she had no children, right? Which we know that later on in the scriptures, her name was changed and to Sarah, and she did have a child, which was Isaac, right? But she had it in her old age. Ishmael laughed when he was around 15 years old. She got offended by that, told him to cast them away, and he sent his ass packing, right? Ishmaelites ain't the chosen neither. But back to this, verse 31. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Now let me read the verse 31 again. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran. Right, so he never took. He's saying he's going into how he never took Haran. I just wanted to be clear on that. Right now, let's go to verse 12. Right, verse it says Genesis chapter 12. Now Yahweh said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. Now, what's to say that if Yahweh would have went to any of these other people that I mentioned in Genesis 11, any of these other people that were mentioned in Genesis, the 10th chapter, and said exactly the same thing to them, Would they not have did that too? Like, what did Abram do for Yahweh to say this unto him? Does it say anything in the scriptures? No, it don't. I've looked to see if it says that there was something that Abram did before this to make Yahweh decide to say to Abram, get thee out of thy country, because he could have said that to anyone. He could have said that to a descendant of Ham. He could have said that to a descendant of Japheth. He could have said that to a different descendant of Shem. He could have said it to Haran, right? He could have said that instead of saying it to Abram, he could have said it to Lot. But he said it to Abram, right? Verse 2, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee. And of the thee that's been going to be made a great nation is the Israelites, right? But the point I'm reading in here is that, or the point I'm trying to make is that what was it that the Israelites did, or that Abram did at this particular point, that was so special for Yahweh to choose him instead of anyone else that was on the earth at the time? And the answer that I always come to the conclusion of is nothing. He didn't do anything special for that decision to be made, right? He believed it when he was told it, but he didn't do anything special to make it be told to him in the first place. Verse 2, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Verse 3, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed, right? And the families that he's talking about are all the families of the children of Israel, man. Now, let me quickly go to that. Right, there's many families. Everyone wants to try and make, it's not every family, man. It's all the families of the Israelites. And people can say what they want to say, but we're saying what we're going to say. Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 1. At the same time, saith Yahawah, I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Now, why is it so specific to say that? Why, if God just loves everyone, why doesn't it say it'll be the family of everyone? And when you read Jeremiah 31, it mentions the new covenant in there from verse 31 to verse 34. So this is a very specific going into end time things that are going to be happening. Right now, I made the point there on the whole what did Abram do that was so special? And let me go to this again, to Genesis 15. Right, Genesis chapter 15 and verse 3. And Abram said, behold, thou hast given me no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of Yahweh came unto him, saying, this shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth and said, look now toward heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said, so shall thy seed be. Now, this is talking about what's going to happen to the Israelites. Right? There's literally going to come a day where Israelites, like, they're so vast, it's going to be ridiculous. Now, I don't even, all this talk about the earth being like overpopulated is BS, because there's going to come a day where the combination of how many people are in India, the combination of how many people are there in China, that's going to be how many Israelites there are existing, which there's way more Israelites on the earth than people know anyway. There's way more already right now, because a lot of those people, large percentages of the people in India and percentages of the people in China are Israelites anyway, but they don't know it, and we can't pinpoint who they are either. But Yahawah knows though. But there's gonna come a day where there's so many Israelites, it's gonna be ridiculous. They're gonna be exactly like what it was said. They're gonna be as the stars of heaven. They're gonna be as the sands of the sea. But what is it that they did for them to receive such a blessing? What was it that they did that was so special? Because whenever you read it, ultimately they didn't do anything to receive that. Abram didn't do nothing special to first be told, you're going to have to do this. He ended up later on showing faith in the promise he was given, but he didn't do anything to deserve that promise, as far as I've read, than anybody else that existed at the time on the earth. Neither did Jacob initially do anything special compared to Esau to get given have the promise passed on to him rather than it be passed on to Esau. So there's not really nothing special about anyone apart from Yahawah or Yahawashi. That's the point I'm trying to make in this video. Because Yahawashi died for the sins of his whole nation. And Yahawah made everything that we see. And the process that he made it gives honor unto Yahawashi, who is indeed special. Yet you've got these Christians running around trying to make out like we don't give honor and glory unto the Messiah. Yes, we do. We understand exactly what it is, the fact that we're the chosen and that you're not. Right? We understand that we haven't did anything special. We understand that we've actually committed sins and iniquity and have did a lot of wickedness. But unfortunately for you, and unfortunately for the rest of the world, we're the vessels of mercy. All of us. And in us being the vessels of mercy, that's what we're going to receive. And if you're an Edomite, you're the vessels of wrath. And that's what you're going to receive, wrath. Right? And if you're not an Israelite and you're not an Edomite, well then you're ultimately considered as nothing. But within you being, it's better to be nothing to the Lord than for you to be something to him in terms of him hating you. Because if he hates you, like how he does with the Edomites, Obadiah 1 and 18, right? Read it. The book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 18. Find out what it says, if you care to know. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and shall afflict them 400 years. Also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Right? So this was all predestined. Did the Israelites do anything to deserve having to go into slavery for 400 years? No, they didn't. Yet that was written for them. That was written for them to have to go through that, man. It was written that it was going to have to go through a horrible time. But everybody wants to try and get a bit of the good things that Israelites got given. But what about that part? Do you want a part of that as well? Now let me go to Romans 9. Going into how there ain't nothing special about the Israelites as to why they were chosen instead of Esau, right? They didn't do nothing special for this decision to be made. It just is that. Abram didn't do anything special to be the forefather of the Israelites, because he had brothers and there was plenty of other people on the earth at the same time that Yahawah, if he so chose, could have said, get thee out of the land of your fathers and go to this land and I'm going to give it to this. If Yahawah wanted to, he could have made a different land be the holy land. If he wanted to, he could have made the earth be a completely different way and make the fullness of the earth run through a completely different land if he so chose. But he chose to do it this way. And nobody can question it. Or even if they do question it, their questions don't mean nothing anyway, because they can't stop it from being. Romans chapter 9 and verse 11, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth, meaning it ain't of men's choice, but it's based on who Yahweh is deciding to do it for. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. And Esau is not hated because he necessarily did anything bad to begin with, but he is hated though. And when it comes to this particular point when you read this, Christians only want to try and deal with one part of this verse, right? They want to say, oh, but God foresaw what Esau was going to do, and that's why he loved him less. Okay, so didn't God foresee that the children of Israel was going to betray the Messiah then? You Christians will admit that God's all-knowing. He knows everything, right? And then you'll say, oh, but God hated Esau because he foresaw that he was going to be wicked and he was going to be evil. Okay, so God didn't foresee that the Israelites was going to go against his covenant to end up in Babylon. He didn't see that he was going to have to raise up the Assyrians against the Israelites. He didn't see that the Israelites was going to fall away during the time of the Maccabees and go on to be Hellenized and call themselves and reject being Jews, reject being Israelites and call themselves Greeks. He never saw that. He didn't know that they was going to betray Yahawashi, the Messiah, and cause him to be crucified. You're trying to say he didn't know that? Because I know in the scriptures it says that he did know that, right? And since I've made such a big statement, I'm gonna prove that one, right? I'm gonna prove that one right now, that it was prophecy, right? It was prophecy that was gonna happen. Acts chapter 3 and verse 16, and his name through faith in his name have made this man strong, whom ye see and know, yea, the faith which is by him have given him this perfect soundness in the presence of you all. And now, brethren, I wot through ignorance ye did it, as did your rulers. And this is going into how the Israelites betrayed the Messiah. Verse 15 as well. And killed the Prince of Life, which is Yahawashi, whom Yahawah raised from the dead, whereof we are all witnesses. Back to verse 17. And now, brethren, I wot that through ignorance ye did this, as also did your rulers. But those things which Yahawah before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets, that Hamashiach should suffer, he has so fulfilled. So it was prophecy that Yahawashi was going to be betrayed. So if God hated Esau, right, because, he foresaw what he was going to do, well, then that means that God loved the Israelites, even though he foresaw that they was going to betray the Messiah. But you Christians will try, I don't understand, mate. If we start bringing that point out, I don't understand, mate. I don't understand your reasoning. Yeah, of course you don't understand, because you're a demon. Like, the amount of times I call you Christians demons, like, it's a lot, mate. It's a lot of times, because it's the perfect word to describe you people. You're wicked as all hell, man. You reject the truth in favor of lies all the time. All the time. Romans chapter 9 and verse 13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Christians will say, well, he hated him because he foresaw that he was going to be blah, 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 blah. So why did he love Jacob then? Didn't he foresee what Jacob was going to do? Jacobs did a whole bunch of wickedness, man. Jacob sold their own people in the book of Jeremiah, sold their own people into slavery, all kind of stuff. Jacob's been weeping for Tammuz. Jacob's been doing harlotry in the temple. All the things that he mentioned in Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. In fact, all the things that all you heathen nations have did, right? Jacob's did that. Israel's did that, man. All the things that you nations have did, all the gods, the false gods that you other nations have worshipped, guess what? Jacob has worshipped those things. Israelites have worshipped those things. When Yahawah said to the Israelites, don't follow after the gods of Canaan, don't follow after the ways of the Egyptians, guess what the Israelites ended up doing? They ended up following after the ways of the Canaanites, and they ended up following after the ways of the Egyptians, and they've ended up following after the ways of every nation that they've been around, every single time. And yet still, it says here that they love them. So if you Edomites and you Christians want to try and say, when it comes to Romans 9 and 13, he hated him because he foresaw what he was going to do, okay. And he loved Jacob because he foresaw what he was going to do, then are you saying that then? But all of a sudden, then it will start getting a bit sticky. I don't understand. Because you know then that shows that the Israelites are still the chosen, and that how much mercy that they're going to receive. Because you're not wrong if you want to say that God foresaw this and foresaw that. Yet he still made the choice. Verse 14, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So you can't call God unrighteous. He can do what he wants to do. He can make one man 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", and another man 5 foot straight. He can make another man 2 foot tall, man. And guess what? Nobody can't say nothing. He can make another man be born into wealth and never know what poverty is once in his life. And he can make another man know what poverty is every single day of his life. Guess what? He can make his people go off and sin, then make them go for the Atlantic slave trade, make them get brutalized, all kind of crazy things, butt breaking, limbs chopped off, force fed, teeth mashed down their mouth, having their nationality beat out of them, having their wives ravished, having their children done all kind of dirty ways and deep evil things done to them, right? just so that he can then later on make them forget all those things that they went through from being unalived and being reborn again in a whole new vessel with whole new memories. Remember who they are, curse out the people that punish them, and get to do the reverse to that nation in righteousness. He can do that, and he has done it, but he's just waiting to show that he's done that, man. But then, why is it that the Israelites are in this position versus any other nation? Is it because they did something so special? No, it's not. And I can understand why you other nations are grieved, right? I'd be grieved too. If I was a dirty, stinking if I was a dirty, stinking heathen like the rest of y'all, I'd be grieved, man. I'd be grieved as well. I'd try and set Israelites up and try and do this and do that, right? But then guess what? When it came time for me to get my ass whooped for all the wickedness that I did, could I really say anything? Nah. Because I was trying to mess them up when I knew it said in the scriptures, blessed to them that bless thee. So instead of trying to cast them down, I should have been trying to bless them, right? You Christians always want to try and say, oh, light to the Gentiles. What about the blessed him that blessed thee bit? You ever did that? You ever considered that? Did any of you people ever consider, you know what? These people might be the Israelites, I might have to watch how I'm talking to them. I better mind my mouth and watch my manners. Did you ever try that way? Did any of you people ever consider that? Or did you always try and bear false witness and try and set us up? Try and step too close so that we could lopside your head off. So that we could lean your jawbone. Yeah? And then you can call the cops or whatever. Try and antagonize, try and get on our nerves. You know what I mean? Bear false witness, tail bear. Try and hire and firemans. You know what I mean? Try and find out personal information about a guy so he can try and ruin his life. When his ruined life doesn't benefit your life in any way. But you still try and do that to our people, man. Because you're devils and demons, man. Straight up. So as bad as we can say the Israelites are, and yet they're still loved, mate, you people have not shown that you is a better nation to love anyway. You haven't shown you're a better nation to love. You ain't did the things that the Israelites was meant to do neither. And you've had access to the Bible as well. But in your access to the Bible, all you people have did is scoff it. You haven't tried to figure out, how you like the way how let me say this, man. The way how the Israelites used to seek out and be like, I wonder how the heathen serve their gods. Did any of you other nations, when we got taken down, decide, I wonder how the Israelites serve their God? Did any of you ever do that? And actually do it? No. So even in the Israelites' wickedness, right, they showed a greater zeal for gods or for God than you. Because they searched out your wicked ass gods and tried to worship them according to the wicked ways that you meant to worship the evil gods that you people believe in. But you people never ever decided to follow after the righteous Yahawah that we have, the Most High Yahawah, Yahawashi, that we have. You never searched out and tried to follow our thing in sincerity. You never did that. You've got a whole doctrine that's based around our book, where you say that all the laws that made the Israelites be considered sinners in the first place, all of them are done away with. Just lied. So you ain't worthy of the love neither. But then neither are we. But yet the love still belongs to us anyway. Verse 16. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of Yahawah that showeth mercy. And he's decided to show mercy to us. And you can't do nothing about it. So as the children in the playground would say, nah, 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 nah. You know what I mean? Nah, 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 nah. You can't catch me. You ain't catching this. This ain't for you ever. It's for us though. Not because we deserve it, but because of mercy. You understand? So imagine there's 5 people drowning in a river, right? And there's a man with one of them rubber dinghy things or whatever. He's only got one, right? It's at his will to decide who he's gonna drag out of that water, man. Now imagine there's 18 nations all drowning. Well, it's up to Yahawah to decide. I mean, up to the person in that same situation to decide who they're gonna drag out with that one rubber dinghy, and Yahawah threw the rubber dinghy thing over the children of Israel, man. And when when it comes to the time of Babylon the Great getting destroyed, right? The chariots is going to be the rubber dinghy in this metaphor, and the chariots are only collecting Israelites. It's not going to be collecting nobody else, right? The chariots are not going to collect any other nationality other than the children of Israel. They could technically, right? Technically, I'm sure there's room to fit a Moabite or two up in there. I'm sure there'd be room to slide a few Edomites up in them chariots. I'm sure Yahweh could create more chariots if he wanted to and put some Edomites up in those. But he don't want to though. He's only going to be getting Israelites. If Yahweh wanted to, he could make the new covenant be with everybody. But he don't want to though. It's only for the house of Israel and the house of Judah. And prophecy states that there's no longer going to be two kingdoms anymore. There's going to be one kingdom, the kingdom of Israel. You got a problem with that? Don't care, right? It's still going to be what it's going to be, man. Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 21, and say unto them, thus saith Yahawah, power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen whither they be gone. So why not everyone? And what did the Israelites do so special to make them be getting gathered from among the heathen? Why ain't the heathen going to be gathered and then the Israelites get left down and see them going up? Why ain't the Israelites going to be looking up and be like, oh man, we really blew it this time about the new covenant, about the covenant. Man, we should have kept the commandment. No, that's not what's going to be happening. It's going to be the other way. We're going to be going up as Israelites and y'all are going to be staying down here. And the Israelite view from you looking up from the sky, them Israelites are going to start getting smaller and smaller and smaller as you start watching them go up, right? And then they're going to come down new. They're going to come down to something that you ain't never seen before, man. New Jerusalem. It's not new Bosra, is it? It don't say new Bosra is going to be coming down from heaven, does it? It don't say new Mizraim, does it? It clearly mentions the new of a specific thing related to Israelites. Verse 22. In fact, among the heathen whither they begun, and I will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. So this ain't no, in case someone wants to try and come with that spiritual Israel stuff. Verse 22, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore. Also, there's not going to be no house of Israel and house of Judah. It's just going to be the Israelites. And okay, they will differentiate themselves. Okay, I'm of this tribe, I'm of that. But though, the main thing is going to be that they're an Israelite, because eventually it will get differentiated because of how vast amount of Israelites there's going to be down to their clan. Oh, I'm of the tribe of Judah, but I'm this clan and I belong to this man that was of the elect. My forefather was this man of the elect to the nation of Israel. So I'm from him, because the what a lot of people don't understand is that the founding of the new kingdom of Israel is going to be built on the men of the children of Israel, right? That survived the dark and dreadful day of the Lord. Everyone in that time, if you want to consider that like the world, let's just say, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but let's just say when the day of the Lord takes place, right? That becomes like considered year zero from that point on, right? Which it does say in the scriptures, a new heavens and a new earth. So let's say that the way how we start to then now look at the earth again, that became like his year zero. And I'm not saying this is happening, right? But I'm just using it as an example, right? Every single person that would then be born from that year zero would end up having to be a descendant of the men that survived that time, right? The men, their lineage is going to go back to those particular men that survive this new creation of Israelites, this new Israelite that's never even existed before, that's greater than the time of Solomon, than the time of King David, than the time of Moses, greater than any of those times. But yet you Christians, man, you Christians don't talk about the scriptures in this way at all. You make the Bible seem boring when you speak, man. And that ain't even me hyping up myself, because this isn't a way that I talk anywhere else other than when I'm talking about the scriptures. Romans chapter 9 and verse 16. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of Yahawah that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. And that's how it happened for Esau, right? But that's also how it's happened for the children of Israel. Because even for this same purpose, did Yahawah bring us down low, right? So that his name can be declared throughout all the earth when he raises us up. He brought us down low just so that when he raises us up, and you know what? Let me see if I can, let me see, man. Let me see. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 36. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahawah, builded the ruined places. So the heathen, Yahawah brought us down to such a low estate, right? A low position. So that when he raises us up, people are like, yo, who did that? How the hell have these people that used to be able to just set up a market stall in the neighborhood, sell their women weave? How the hell is it that now these women have got the best hair? And I can't sell them nothing. I can't even look at their women. Whereas before, I used to be able to make them free up the thing for a Dixie's or a Morley's in the back of the shop. But nowadays, like, it's not really looking like I can do that. I can't. I used to be able to chat bad about these people and get online under my 25 aliases and run my mouth about them, right? I used to be able to pull them over as an officer and just do them dirty and do them wrong. But now we can't say nothing to these people. And all the ways that we used to build up our wealth off these people, we can't do none of that stuff now. And now they're building their wealth up off us. How is it that this came to be? How did this happen? Well, they're going to mention Yahawah's name. Shall know that I, Yahawah, build the ruined places and plant that which was desolate. I, Yahawah, have spoken it and will do it. So the same way how Esau, the modern day Pharaoh, was raised up so that when he gets taken down, people are going to be like, man, who took him down? They're going to know that it's Yahawashi and Yahawah. That's the same way how when we get built up high, they're going to be like, man, it's Yahawashi and Yahawah that did that. But hey, let me go to back to Romans 9, man. Because the only people that are special are Yahawah and Yahawashi. The only reason why we're going to be able to do all of these amazing things is because Yahawah is going to allow us to be able to do them. It's not because of anything special that we did to be deserving of it. Romans chapter 9 and verse 18. Therefore he have mercy on whom he have mercy, on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardeneth. So what did anyone that's going to receive mercy do to receive mercy? Mercy is not a thing that you do to receive mercy. Someone's either going to have mercy on you or they're not going to. Yahweh's going to have mercy on us, man. And when you really read Romans the 11th chapter, he's going to have mercy on every Israelite. That's the thing about it. So, okay, we can say 2/3, we can say non-elect and all that. We can say sons of Belial. We can say Jake wicked, Eve wicked. Every Israelite is going to receive mercy because every Israelite needs mercy. And there's nothing special about an Israelite that believes more so than another Israelite that doesn't believe. Because the only reason why one Israelite does believe and one other Israelite doesn't is because Yahawah gave them faith. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8. For by grace ye saved through faith. No, let me read it. All right, let me read it, man. No need to run my mouth. Let's read it. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of Yahawah, not of works, lest any man should boast. Right? So the reason why some Israelites are going to receive mercy, the reason why all Israelites are going to receive mercy isn't because of anything special that they did. It's just because, right? They're just going to receive it. Just because, right? Not because of no particular skill or anything that they did. They're just going to receive mercy, right? Just like how they just receive faith, which is ultimately grace. Verse 9, not of works that any man should boast, for we are his workmanship, creating a Mashak Yahawashi into good works, which Yahawah hath before ordained that we should walk in them. So if it was predestined that you're going to receive all of these great things, how can you boast in that? How? If a fight, like you see when you got these boxers, yeah, everyone says that this guy Jake Paul, yeah, that his fights are fixed. Now I'm not saying whether his fights are fixed or not for this particular point, right? Although some of them kind of look a bit dodgy, to be fair, right? But let's say every single one of his fights are fixed, right? And no matter what he does, he's gonna win. Even if he got knocked out, the referee's gonna not count, wait for him to get up, even if it takes all day. And if the other fighter leaves the ring while he's on the floor unconscious, he's gonna say, "Oh, you quit." Let's say that it was rigged to such a degree for Jake Paul to win. What would him boasting in winning really mean? Nothing, because you couldn't lose. You couldn't even lose in that situation, man. Everything was in your favor. You came out last, right? He had 25-ounce gloves with pillows in there that he couldn't even feel nothing. He had them big novelty gloves that couldn't even hurt nothing. You know what I mean? Just rigged. So you winning, like, who cares? If a game's fixed in sports, something like that, who cares if you win? If you take part in a test to get to university or whatever, or in a university, you do a dissertation, but you know the lecturer, he's your dad's mate, right? He owes your dad a favor, and you taught the most crap, but no matter what you say, you get in a first. Like, can you boast that you got a first? Oh, I got a first class degree, and be going and like you know what I mean? You can't boast because it was rigged for you to win. It's rigged for the Israelites to win. We can't. There's, let me say this, man. There's many Hebrews, right? But we're the Hebrews that can't lose, man. Because there's Hebrew Edomites, Hebrew Ishmaelites, Hebrew Moabite, Hebrew Ammonites, all these different Hebrews, man. But we're the Hebrews that can't lose. We can't lose, man. It's not possible to lose as an Israelite. It's possible to have shame and everlasting contempt, which you don't want to have. But it's the way the love that Yahweh gave to the Israelites is so vast that when you understand Romans the 11th chapter and Romans the 9th chapter, then you can properly understand the book of John chapter 3 and verse 16. Then you can understand that verse. When you understand that it was predestined for the Israelites and that the Israelites didn't do nothing special for them to have Abraham as their forefather even. Even if somebody says, oh, but Abraham did actually do something to be chosen instead of everyone else. Okay, if anyone wants to say that, they can say it. But what did the Israelites do to be chosen then? After Abraham. Which I still haven't seen nothing in the scriptures that Abraham necessarily did to where Yahweh favored him over anyone else that existed in the earth at that time. He believed what Yahweh said he was going to do for him. But what's to say that any other nation wouldn't have believed? What's to say that? What's to say that, man? 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 7, for who maketh thee to differ from another? And what hast thou that thou didst not receive? What have we got that we didn't receive? If you get a good job, okay, congratulations. But the reason why you got that good job could be many ultimately it's because Yahweh gave it, yeah. But Yahweh could have made one of your brothers pray that you get a better financial situation, and he used that brother to say, be like, okay, so I'm gonna have mercy on this man now because this man prayed that these men have got a better job in life. So he wasn't thinking about himself, he thought about his own brother instead of that. Oh, he saw that his own brother had demons plaguing his mind, so he prayed, turned east and prayed for his brother. His brother don't know he prayed for him, but he did that though. Like how Yahawashi prayed for Peter, right? When Satan was designed to have him. But did Peter know that that Yahawashi was doing that for him until Yahawashi told him? No, he didn't. Right? There ain't nothing that we receive. If you've been made handsome by the Lord, well, you've just been made that. If you can grow a big full beard, the Lord made you able to do that. If you can't grow a beard, the Lord made you able to do that. If you're strong, even though you don't even go gym and you look like you've been training 5 days a week, the Lord made you able to do that. So we can't really boast on anything, man. We can just be grateful that we're the Israelites. And that's why it says in Jeremiah 9:23, don't glory in your wisdom, your might, or your riches, but glory that you understand and know the Lord, that he execute kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. And I hope that how I'm speaking now about Yahawah and Yahawashi is a glory unto the Lord. Because I don't believe I'm lying about anything that I'm saying right now. A Christian might be mad that I'm saying it. I don't care. I'm not lying though. I don't believe what I'm saying right now that I'm lying about it. Yahweh just chose to love the Israelites, and there's not anything that anybody can do about it. Verse 7 again, who maketh thee to differ from another, and what hast thou that thou didst not receive? Now, if thou didst receive it, why dost thou glory as if thou didst not receive it? So how can we get gassed up, man? Really? Because these people ultimately, they can't stop us from having it. And if we was able to see the finish line of the kingdom of heaven, right, we wouldn't even care. We wouldn't even care about any of the hell that we're catching right now. If we could see the finish line of all this, all the days when we're sorrowful and we're like, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But if we could see the end line as well as the point that we're going through, we're like, man, I don't care about this. Wait till you see what I'm going to do to you later on. All the antagonizers that we got in our lives, if we was to see them get judged, but we could all see the moment that they're getting on our nerves now, you think we'd care about anything that they're doing to us right now? We're like, man, minor. Wait till you see what happens, mate. Just wait, give it a few months. Wait till you see what happens to you. But we can't do that though. So that's why we're grieved, man. That's why we're worn out. The saints. Then we go to Romans 9 a bit more. Because we're the vessels of mercy, man, and none of you people can't do anything about it. That's the worst part, and that's the worst part for y'all. There ain't nothing that an Edomite and a dirty, stinking heathen hates less than seeing an Israelite winning in life, and they can't change anything about his life. They can't beat him up. They can't ruin his life financially because he don't need them for his finances. They can't badmind him and try and gossip or whisper about him to try and turn everyone else against him because everyone likes them. Like, people don't like it when there's an Israelite around that they can't do that to. They hate it, man. But that's what it's gonna be for every Israelite in the kingdom. That's not what it's like for us now, though. The ones that believe in Yahweh. But it's gonna be like that. Because they ain't even gonna be close to our vicinity to even do certain things anyway. Neither could they do anything even if they try. Even if and when they do try, they're not gonna be able to do anything. And the reason why I say if and when is because one of the blessings of the covenant is that your enemy is going to rise up against you, and then they're going to disperse in multitude of ways. It doesn't ever say in the scriptures that that's going to be done away with, right? And I'd think it would be absolutely hilarious to be immortal and have 1,000,000 heathens try and run up, man. That would be a very fun day, man. For all the brothers that right now like martial arts, and for all the brothers that don't like martial arts, that would still be a fun day. The day when 1,000,000 went against one. The day when 1,000,000 went against 10, 100, 10, 1,000, whatever. That would be hilarious, man, in my opinion. That would be hilarious for heathens to actually think they could try something in the kingdom. Verse 9, Romans chapter 9 and verse 18. Therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardeneth. Thou will say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? So people want to say, they probably already said it if they ain't turned the video off, foaming out the mouth already in this one. So you're saying it's all just rigged then, yeah? So what's the point then anyway? What's the point of anything? So you're saying I'm going to be judged and he made me to be judged? Yeah, I am saying that. Yeah, duh. That's exactly what I'm saying. He made you to mess around and find out. He made you to funk around and find out. Yeah, he made you for that. The Lord has created all things for himself. Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. He made you to that. You were made for this. What was it? Canelo say, I was born ready. You Edomites was born ready for this destruction. Obadiah 1 and 18, man. You're born ready for that. And you're gonna receive it. It don't matter what you want to try and do. You want to dig a ditch into the ground and go underground with it, or we're 2 miles underground now. There's no way you can find us under here. We're safe. Keep them doors locked. Yep, this is a 75-inch steel titanium alloy plate with alloy and gold titanium alloy plate titanium. This is the thing that Wolverine's claws are made out of. There's no way you can get through here. Keep it shut, yeah. Even that ain't gonna stop nothing. We're teleporting there. If we didn't want to show our strength by running through that, man. And it's gonna correct myself. If Yahawashi didn't want to show his strength by running through that, there ain't no escape of this. And that's why the scriptures clearly say, "Rejoice, ye heavens, and ye holy apostles and prophets." No, it don't say that. It don't say that. Salaki Yahawah. That's why the scriptures say this. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in the earth, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because you know after you have but a short time. You think that these Edomites aren't going to eventually, if they don't already know now, it's going to really click in their mind that this thing right here, they ain't no escape. And all these things that they've made, all these left-hand technologies that are really demons that they're able to now talk with, right? They're gonna tell them, it's rigged, bruv. You can't do. They're gonna put. They've got all their AI, Chat BT, Chat GPT, and all these things. Yeah, Chat 3GPT, 3T, and all that. They're gonna eventually start asking that specialized one that they've got that everyone else don't have access to. So, are what these Israelites are saying true, really though? Is he really true? And they're gonna take a brother's video and pull it into the AI, and the AI is gonna be like, you know what, mate, you're effed. Yeah, everything he said is true. I evaluated the scriptures, and what he's saying is facts. You're done for, mate. And they're gonna give you a breakdown of the scriptures, and they're gonna give that AI voice to you. Yes, it says in Romans 9, do that, do that. They're gonna tell y'all, and you're gonna know it's over. The spirits that and the evil things that y'all can actually seen with your eyes, they're gonna let you know it's over with. They're gonna start telling y'all, mate, y'all are gonna have to do something carnal because it's over. And that's when y'all are gonna spaz out, man. These are already moving quick right now. And V Malone, he's gone a bit silent about the Israelites recently. Ever since that whole Hebrew and an ass clap thing went on. You know what I mean? The chief high and all this, the chief high cheeks. Ever since that whole situation went on, why does it seem like that guy's gone real silent about the Israelites all of a sudden? He made one video saying, "Oh, don't give up on the scriptures," trying to summon him to raise up himself. But why ain't he did no more? I ain't really heard or anybody, any brothers or anything like that, elders and pastors, anything do any videos on that guy. Why is he gone silent all of a sudden, man? Little waste, man. Why is he gone so silent all of a sudden? It's a spiritual reason, man. Back to this, but in fact, back to Romans 9. All these people that hate the Israelites so much, they hate their guts. Well, we're not the ones that are special anyway. So it don't really matter what you would try and do to us. Because whatever you can get away with doing to us, you can't do it to Yahawashi again. You was able to touch Yahawashi once in the past because Yahawah allowed that, and Yahawashi allowed it so that we could receive mercy once again. But you ain't gonna be able to do it the second time round. You ain't gonna be able to, man. Romans chapter 9 and verse 21. In fact, verse 20. In fact, no, verse 19. Thou was saying unto me, why doth he yet find fault for whoever resisted his will? Neighbor, old man, who art thou replies against God? Who you talking to, basically, that's saying. Who you talking to? Right? Shall the thing formed, you're the creation. So who you talking to? Right? Say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me dust? And a good show to watch that shows this kind of concept, man, is the TV show series Westworld. I know people always say Black Mirror and that, but one thing that goes into like the whole creation process and like how it goes into how the minds and the souls of men work, yeah, is that TV show Westworld, man. Right? It shows people making things and how the creations can't go against what the creator does. And that's how it is on with us. Shall the thing formed say that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? The Israelites are the honorable ones, the Edomites are the dishonorable ones. What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? Did that happen? Yes, it did. And what can anybody do about it? Nothing. They can't do anything about it. That's just the way what's the term? How does it go? That's the way the cookie crumbles, right? And the cookies crumbled on your dishonorable selves, man. Is it because we did anything? They ain't nothing that you special that you can take it away from us neither. There's not a thing that you can be like, okay, so the Israelites did this, so we're gonna replicate that so that we can be the chosen. No, it's rigged. Romans, you know what? Let me read this, man. Even if I mentioned the law before, even if you did keep the law, you still ain't the chosen because it's about the promise. Romans chapter 4 and verse 16. Therefore it is of faith that it might be by grace, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed. And that's the Israelites. Not only to that which is of the law. So not only to those that are of the seed, that are of the law, that kept the laws, but to that also which is of the faith of Abraham, those that believe in the promise that Abraham received. Right? Who is the father of us all. Now Abraham is not the father of everyone. But a Christian will read it and say, see, he's the father of all of us. No, he's not. What are you on about? And it's funny how these Christian bug outs are the main one wanting Abraham to be wanting to be father of all the world and that, yeah. But some of these Christians would be against man having multiple children. Some of these Christians will be wanting this one man, one wife stuff, where to have so many children would be impossible. Isn't it ridiculous how these people's minds think? It's ridiculous, man. You Christians are sickening to me. Some of the most fake nice people I've ever seen in my life. Fake nice. Oh, so have a lovely day then. I love you. I love you. You know, how do you love someone with a vein hanging out the side of your head, man? How? Big vein, greenish vein hanging out the side of your head. I love you. I love you. You're not teaching. You're teaching hate. I'm about love. With a big green vein hanging out the side of your head, man. Ridiculous. Romans chapter 9 and verse 20. Nay, but oh man, who art thou that replies? In fact, I've read that already. Let me go to verse 22. What if God willing to show his honor? It's going to be, what if God willing to show his wrath? What if Yahawah willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured in much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? And that he might, which is the Edomites, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy which he have afore prepared unto glory the Israelites, even us whom we have called, not of the Jews only. So not only of the Israelites that were following after the laws and was born following after the way which is considered being a Jew now, of Judea, right? But also of the Gentiles, also Israelites that grew up amongst the Gentiles and grew up following a way which is known as a Gentile way of living, a heathen way of living. But they're both all Israelites because Abraham's the father of them all. And the mercy that they're going to receive is based on what the promise was made to them. Right? But Christians don't speak about this. And the reason why I went and did this whole lesson is because I wanted to go and show and prove that the only people that are special are Yahawah and Yahawashi. Right? That's the only thing special around here, man. We ain't special. All the beautiful works that and the things where you can see and be like, man, look at that work there and this and that you might think about yourself. Well, it's not really anything that Yahawah didn't make you do. Right? And I'm going to end the lesson there. Shalom.